Okay, welcome back. Of course, RadioFire.com. Yours truly, Don McKay, in here. I frequently talk about how important this election is, 2020 election. I have said this many times, and I mean this. This is the most important election of your lifetime. And someone that I have in the building, guest, of course. Please introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Christopher Anderson. I'm running for Congress for the 7th District of Baltimore City. This district is important to me.
You're running for what district?
The 7th District of Congress.
Okay.
Cummings OC.
Okay.
District is important to me, and I don't think it should be. I agree with you. This is the most important election we've had in a long time, and I don't think it should be left to the Democrats that are running in this election right now. Not one of them.
Okay. All right. So let's start at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Where did you grow up?
Here in Baltimore City.
Okay. Born and raised?
Born and raised here in Baltimore.
What area?
East Baltimore.
Okay.
East Baltimore. East Baltimore, to be Pacific Lake. You know where Lakeside Montebello is?
I do.
Area right there, Lakeside. I grew up there with my grandfather. My grandfather is Christopher Bland. He's a Baltimore native. He owned Bland's Carryout on Riggs Avenue. Mm-hmm. He was a pillar of the community for a long time. You know, one of the entrepreneurs in the community that actually had a small black-owned business in the community. Now that black-owned business is owned by Koreans now, but the restaurant.
You said black-owned businesses are owned by Koreans now?
Yeah,
that's funny.
We don't have no more black-owned businesses, but he was one of the few people in Baltimore that actually had a good black-owned business, a carryout, Riggs, Bland's Carryout on Riggs Avenue, right near the where the riots happened and everything, where the police.
Yeah, it was one of the places. Yeah, that was one of the areas that was touched by that. So much. What led you into politics? So coming from, you were close with your grandfather?
Very close.
So you, I guess, had that entrepreneurial spirit?
Yes, I do.
So what led you to politics?
Okay, what led me to politics, first of all, it was church. I'm a social conservative, so most people in church don't realize that they're social conservative. They think,
so the people in church are social. You're like Baptist? You're a Baptist?
I would say I'm an evangelist.
Okay.
I'm sorry, evangelical, not evangelist.
Okay.
Evangelical. But I go to a Baptist church, New Shiloh Baptist. I've been with that church since I was 19 years old, and I just love the Lord. I love Christ, and it grew up in my heart. And even while I was, a young person in church, I had always wondered why the values of church. People more consider the salvation part. They want to get saved, but they don't, do the work of God. So the values, I'm wondering why the values like, abortion and the matters that are political are not important to the church. I sat in Congress. I went to Congress in Annapolis to. What is it? Donald Dwyer. Donald Dwyer, he was a delegate there, and he needed help with the Marriage Protection Act. And so I testified with the Marriage Protection Act for 7 years. And he said, you're one of the few Christians that actually came up here from the urban community that actually, wanted to help out with this. And I said, no one's been here. He said, no, the spiritual community has not been here. So that was my first entry into politics right there, helping Delegate Donald Dwyer in Annapolis. So I testified on a Marriage Protection Act for 7 years straight. Of course, it failed, but for 7 years, we held it down, and we wanted to keep marriage traditional in Baltimore.
So when you say keep marriage traditional, you mean
between a man
and woman?
Yes.
Okay. So the different unions, I guess, like man and man, women and women unions, you don't like those?
I wouldn't say I don't like them. I'm just saying in the Christian-based relationship, what God ordained would be a man and woman. When I can say that because of marriage, when two become one, they have another person in that marriage, and that's God. So that marriage is an ordained marriage. That ordained marriage is what I champion for traditional marriage between a man and woman. If someone wanted them two same-sex, I would respect that. I'm one of the few people that actually went up there and supported civil unions. A lot of people up there, politicians included, and Christians, did not want civil unions. They didn't want anything for same-sex marriage. I thought of an alternative. I said civil unions should be the law of the land. Now, most the LGBTQ community doesn't like that. They don't want civil unions. But I think civil unions should be the law of the land or to them themselves call it an alternative relationship. So you should have an alternative solution. That's what I always said back then.
Okay. So that's interesting, and I'm sure that a lot of people would want to know your stance on that. So as far as the seat that you're running for, this is a heavily contested seat. There are 32 people running for this seat. You're one of the 32.
19 Democrats and 8 Republicans.
Yes, that is true. So what type of a job did you think that Congressman Cummings did during his tenure?
I think Congressman Cummings did a great job during his tenure. Of course, he's a native of Baltimore, icon of Baltimore, and everybody knows him.
No doubt.
I think that he was a great congressman. He did a great job here in Baltimore. Around the ending of the last 3 years with the trash and the rats and everything that was called out in Baltimore, everybody that I said that heard that, a lot of people did not like President Trump saying that the trash and the rats were all over Baltimore, but not one person said.
He said infested.
Infested.
Like, see, that's a serious word, infestation, right?
Yeah.
Saying you got rat here, rat there, but if you say something is infested, that means it is overrunning. Okay.
Yeah.
What place have you ever heard of that has more rats than New York City?
New York and D.C. has about the same amount of rats as Baltimore does.
No. New York has more rats than anywhere. Yes, it's bigger. It's a bigger place.
Oh, yeah, well, of course. Yeah,
I mean,
yes.
And
New York and D.C. has...
By the water, whenever you buy the water, you're going to have
Right.
these issues.
Right.
My point is that New York's rat problem is much
Way bigger
larger than
than
Baltimore's
Baltimore's problem.
And he wouldn't dare say that New York is rat
Right,
infested.
of course, but me running for Congress, I'm not concerned with New York. I'm concerned with Baltimore.
I'm just trying to say, if someone calls you out, somebody says, "Look at your dirty house," right? But their house is worse than yours. You would be like, "Well, you talk about my house. Look at your house."
Well,
I just said it for contrast.
Well,
And
that's
so
true,
Trump's
but
your guy.
I would also clean my house.
What? Okay. That's so Trump. That's who you voted for? Are you a Trump supporter?
I'm not a Trump supporter. I haven't sent Trump a dime. He can support himself. Donald Trump is a grown man and can take care of himself.
Okay.
I'm
Did you
here
vote for him?
Baltimore. Yes, I voted for him. I voted for him this time around. Not afraid to say it. I voted for Donald Trump, and we'll be voting for him again. And I think every African American should vote for Donald Trump.
Okay, make sure his mic is up. I want to make sure. Say that one more time. Make sure we can. You said every black person should vote for Donald Trump?
Every African American should vote for Donald Trump. By the end
Please,
of this interview,
explain
at
yourself.
The end of
Why?
this interview, you will know why. Every African American should
Explain.
vote. If as live as I'm sitting here right now as an African American conservative Republican now, running in a contested race with 19 Democrats and 8 Republicans,
31 other people.
Right. I will say every African American at the sound of my voice, and we're not gonna stay on. I want to talk more about Baltimore, but
But I
whenever
think
you get
this
into
is
a conversation
important.
about Trump, people, I'm not here to. That's why I say I'm not a Trump supporter.
No,
I'm not
you
supporting
are.
Trump.
You are a Trump supporter.
I'm a Trump voter, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Voter, supporter, same thing.
Well,
You're supporting him with your vote.
I contest
You're supporting
that.
him with your vote.
Oh, okay.
Just like you want somebody to vote for you,
Yes, that's true. You're right.
and they're supporting you with your vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is why I say every African American should be should vote right this time. Should vote right and not left. There's not one Democrat running in this race that is going to do anything about the situation in Baltimore, and we know it. We play games with it. We seem like we're sold out for Democrats. We say we sold out for Christ, but we're sold out for Democrats more than anything. They promise us and promise us and promise us and promise us something, and it never gets done. We stay a charity in the African American community, and we notice they come for our votes. They tell us they're going to do this, they're going to do that.
That's politicians in general.
Well, we know that. We know this is a Democrat.
Oh, let's not act like,
No, this is a 68% Democratic stronghold, which I call it a chokehold.
Let's not act like Larry Hogan comes through here when he ain't trying to get no vote. He only come every time I see Larry Hogan here, they're knocking down a building, and he got a hard hat on, and you know what I mean, and another building down, and he go right back to Annapolis.
All right.
That's a politician thing.
All right, politicians.
Sure.
But Democrats have done this to us for years, and the things that they promised to us that we need. Not many Republicans promise anything to us.
Because they don't get elected.
Well, no, they be in a race. They promise things too.
Sure,
but you never hear them promise us outrageous stuff and then don't give it to the African American community.
That's true because they want to take all the social things.
Well,
take it. Give me that. I want that. I want that.
Oh, you talking about all politicians or
Republicans specifically?
All right, okay. Well, let's talk about the Democrats because that's what's being done today. I want to explain to you why I say every African American should vote for him.
Okay.
Right now, Baltimore has the highest opioid rates. Did you know that?
I did. We have it's very high. So I think that you can go down this rabbit hole and say that Republicans are going to clean up the drug epidemic.
Yes. Not. First of all, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I didn't mean a drug. Let me just get through it.
If that's where you want to go, I'm fine with that. Okay. But is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly. What I'm saying. Look. I get it. A lot of people don't like Republicans, but here, Republicans know how to do one thing and one thing good, and that's build up infrastructure. Just as good as a steel skyscraper in New York City. Okay, they can build up infrastructure, and they got the means and the money to do it. And they've sent it here 2 times to have it done in the enterprise zones that they were supposed to build.
Empowerment zones.
Empowerment. They call it enterprise zones, but empowerment zones.
Gotcha.
$1.8 billion was sent, and it went through Cummings' office.
Okay.
We know.
You said he did a great job, though.
I said he did a great job. I'm talking about the money.
So we're talking about misappropriation of funds.
And I'm not blaming Cummings for that. Okay. He sends the money to Baltimore, and as we know, Baltimore, we never see the money. We as people, we know these kind of things, but yet we're fighting so hard against it for these Democrats that we know that are screwing us over. Not one of them is going to fix the problems in Baltimore City in those enterprise zones. Not one of them is going to build the city up. They're not for the sanctity of life. And I'm sorry, it's desperate right now. You said this is an important election. It is. We're desperate right now.
The most important election. I hear what you're saying, and
we need that
and
done.
I respect what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Give me an example. Who's the model? What Republican? Point to a Republican somewhere that's doing all the things that you say need to be done. Show me what state.
I can talk about this state.
Yeah, because there is no state you can point to. Some of the poorest people that I ever heard of are in Republican states.
Well, how about some
Republican-controlled states?
Some of the poorest people.
Mitch McConnell's state is a Republican state. It's really poor over there.
Most of the Democrat-ran cities like ours, Detroit, Chicago, California now. Have you seen them? They're a mess. And they're 100% Democrat-ran.
But I just told you that the Republican. This is not a Democrat-Republican thing. This is a poorly run business thing.
This is
a poorly run community thing.
No, this is a Democrat-Republican thing, and it's an African.
So Republicans manage money correctly, Democrats don't. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So we don't have corrupt Republicans. We only have corrupt Democrats.
Talk about here. Talk about here in Baltimore, where we got 68% ran, which people like to ignore. 70% ran Republican. 70% ran Democratic city, and it's being run into the ground. It would behoove anyone that's going to vote different, just to have. We always say, "Oh, we're time for a change. It's for a change. We need to change." We say that all the time, and then we go right back to the polls and vote for the same people to do the same exact thing they've been doing. So here let me throw this at you. To vote somebody different to do something.
A different person, yes.
No,
not a different person, yes.
Okay.
But you got to vote somebody that has the ideals that you have.
Right.
So yes, we've had some people that have mismanaged things. Mm-hmm. True, but from an ideological standpoint, a modern Republican does not represent the urban community. You can't tell me any of that. I mean, you and Kanye can go back and say the Republican Party was created to free the slaves, and you can say some craziness like that. However, when we fast forward to modern Republicans, mm-hmm. we talk about Republicans today.
Right.
Their policies have not benefited anybody in the hood.
Right.
It hasn't. So you're going to sit here and say because you are from the hood, but you are adopting the policies of these Republicans, that's going to benefit the hood. That's what you're saying.
Not adopting, going to actually do it. And no, I'm not saying that Republicans have our best interests in mind no more than the Democrats do. I'm going to say it once again. We are sitting.
So you're making my points for me, actually.
No,
because
you're actually making mine for
if
me
you're
as well.
saying
You're just focusing on one side of the aisle.
No, well, I mean, it's two things. So this frequently happens with women, right? Okay. So you got some girls who have bad relationships with men over and over and over again.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they say, you know what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
This is what you're saying, dude. Now I'm going to date a guy. Because I date a girl. Because all these guys been screwing me over.
No,
you've been dating guys all this time.
That's a bad analogy. How about
that doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense.
This is what women do, and this is a better analogy.
Okay.
Women will date black men over and over again, and which I don't agree with them dating outside. Well, I don't date dating outside their race. They'll run and they'll say, "I'll get a white man," he'll treat me different.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Same.
But
Same thing.
Usually most of them will be happy. But not that I agree with that. I think that the struggle that we deal with in the community between us as people of color, we need to strengthen ourselves and strengthen our own unity. It's about family. These values, once again. Mm-hmm. And what you said earlier about the Republican Party not holding our values, that's not true. They hold those values for themselves. Those are our values. Those building strong families, having a good education, working a job and building a family up and raising children. Those are values that belong to us as well. Matter of fact, they belong to us more than anything because we preach about them all the time in church. We just do things different. I tell you what's not our values. What has become our values from the Democratic standpoint in this city: abortion, food stamps, no families, broken homes, broken streets, broken roads. And we think that voting someone else in that same party, like you said, that girl going to that same man. That's why I said I didn't want to use that analogy of just black men, because I don't want to disgrace black men. I don't think that's an appropriate thing that black men are. I think black men are great fathers, matter of fact, and great.
I didn't say it wasn't.
Right. I'm just saying. I don't want that to be misconstrued. I don't want somebody
you don't want somebody to twist
he
that.
said black men ain't nothing, and every woman should go get a white man. I didn't say that.
Right. That would be crazy if you said that.
What I am saying is you cannot look in the same pool of people for the solutions for a problem that they're breaking in the first place. You have to look at a different pool. Now, people say, "Oh, well, I don't want to go to Republicans because everything you speculate, they really don't care about us." When I joined the Republican Party,
when was that?
I joined. I worked at Annapolis with Dal Drawn about 4 years ago. I joined the Republican.
So you're a new Jack.
Yeah. About 4 years now.
Okay.
And the reason why I got bold with it and I started running as a Republican is because I'm seeing my city about to make a big giant mistake looking just at one party. That's a very definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and expecting different results.
You got all the talking points. That's one of the talking points that most Republicans use.
Thank you very much. It's true. Is it a lie? Well, that's why I'm using it. I'm only going to use talking points that are true.
Okay.
You look into the same pool of people, and people are saying, well, I want a different Democrat. Well, I'm looking at the people that are running this race, 19 Democrats that just jumped in, and some of them got flashy names and big this and big that. And some people say, well, I feel safe with this person because he's done it before. I feel safe with this person because they have the last name. Those are the wrong reasons to be voting at this time, not with people dying. It's the opioid rate is 761 deaths per year. That's higher than the murder rate.
So you think this is something that's exclusive for Baltimore?
We only live in Baltimore.
Yeah, but I'm saying this is a nationwide epidemic that you are putting on the backs of the Democrats in Maryland?
You should never put Baltimore in a pool with everybody else. You should be just thinking about where you are right now. We're in Baltimore. People are dying. People are dying right on the street. Nobody wants to say anything. None of these Democrats are going to do anything about it. I want to go there and I want to do something about it. What
is your plan? What do you think you can do to fix the opioid crisis here in Baltimore?
Oh, good question. I'm glad you asked. First of all, the money has already been sent for that. The Republicans, the people that we say that we don't want to look at because we want to foolishly do the same thing over again, look in the same pot of people, sent $1.8 billion to combat that problem and the infrastructure. So you got two problems that can be taken care of right there. The money did not trickle down to the community.
So you think this is just a money thing? You think we can just throw money at
not throw money. We can actually take the money, actually use it to build up the empowerment zones. We can actually use that money to. I'm advocating for wellness centers in those empowerment zones where those people are at. Those people are not sick. First of all, I mean they're not addicts. A lot of people look at them and they come into the district and they say, oh, there's addicts and criminals everywhere. That's not true. Those people are sick. And if you get those people well, they'll see their environment as those empowerment zones are built back up by the Republicans, who sent the money already. The money has already been sent. For people to say they're not going to do anything, they've already sent the money. Okay, the money did not make it to us. We already know the corruption line in Baltimore and where the money may be or whatever. The money didn't make it to us in the district. Meanwhile, people are dying. We can take that money, we can build wellness centers right in those empowerment zones with those black-owned businesses that we could have built up, the city's supposed to build up that didn't build up. And we can get the people well on the street. Wellness centers are perfect. Detox centers are perfect to bring people back to a reality of a sense of being a human being, a dignity and honor who they are. And that's what we need. That's my plan. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
The people in the city should be doing that, but they're not doing it. Okay, the people that
there's so many more issues that I want to get to with you. I'm just tuning in. It's RadioOnFire.com, of course, the voice of urban America. Diamond K in here. I'm sitting with one of the 32 candidates for the seat of former Congressman Elijah Cummings, Mr. Anderson, in here telling us about the Republican Party that he has been studying for the last 4 years. And
I've been actually active.
You've been active for the last 4 years. Gotcha. So, with
Protection Act,
with regards to the redistricting that took place, as far as the district, the district is bigger than Baltimore. Mm-hmm. There are areas of Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Howard County. Oh, okay. So, what about some of those other areas? What are some of the focus points for you, Baltimore County and Howard County?
Well, the gerrymandering, first of all, has to stop. We can't allow the district to be cut up like this all the time, and they do that on purpose because
absolutely,
when you cut a district up like that, the issues of it become marginalized. That's why we're sitting in Baltimore with opioid race and no one's paying attention to, because it's not happening in Howard County. It's not happening in Baltimore.
The opioid, it's not happening in Howard County.
It's spreading. It's more. Once again, I'm worried about the city, but. It's more of a not our problem, other people's problem before it got noticed. Put it that way.
Okay.
People started dying from it and overdosing from it. All of a sudden, it became we've had a war on drugs for a long time. But when these opioids hit, and it hits other races and not us, other people started getting concerned. But I'm concerned about the people when I walk down the street and in my district and I see people dying on the corner. I just saw someone today. I mean, every time I go out, you see someone about the overdose, and somebody say, call the ambulance. I don't want to, this problem can be fixed. You know what I mean? So that problem plus the infrastructure and the money being sent, $1.8 billion, you can actually just fix the problem. Not one of the Democrats that we're trying to vote in will do that because they all had to vote on party lines. That's what our voters have to understand. That's why they're having a hard time making a decision about voting Republican or voting Democrat. I'm going to say it again. We should all just vote Republican, even if it's just to get a change.
They should just do it.
Unless you like people dying right in your district, right around you, and you like trash and dirt and rats and politicians stealing your money, go ahead and vote the same way you've been voting and see how that works out for you. But if you like that, keep voting in that pool of people and expecting one of them just in praying. That's what people are doing, really. Begging and praying. I'm begging and praying that one of these people will do something different. Well, I'm here to tell you they can't. You know why? And this is what we haven't figured out for a long time. Because they have to vote on party lines. If you look at some of their records, when they vote up about guns, one of the issues that I'm champion is gun rights. African Americans are always taught that we can't have guns. Everybody else got guns, but we don't have guns. We should have guns and respect our Second Amendment rights just like everybody else. We do not, because when you send a politician that's a Democrat to Congress and they put a gun bill in front of them, they are automatically going to vote that gun bill down. If you vote,
not necessarily.
Yes, if you look at the records, you might say that, but
that's not necessarily
that's
true.
a Democratic Party thing.
It depends on where the person lives, where that Democrat lives. Because if this is a moderate Democrat that lives somewhere in a district where there are a lot of conservative people, they're going to tend to be a left person that kind of leans right. So it depends on where you are.
They don't want to. They don't want to.
That doesn't matter. It matters where they stand.
I agree with you, but we should be concerned with our issues versus their issues. Like if they do want to lean and vote just because they live in a certain district, we should say no. We this is what our values in this district are. And by the way, you're speaking of Baltimore County. Baltimore County has a 52% increase. People keep saying a 52% increase in crime. It's not accurate. It's a 52% increase in murders, homicides. So the problem is spread.
That's not crime?
Oh, it's crime, but I'm just saying nobody likes to use the word homicide. It's not theft. It's not drug related. It's murders, homicides.
Okay.
And
Republicans can fix this as well.
Of course. The problem is coming from just like the opioid incident that's spreading. The problem is coming from the lack of jobs, the lack of poverty in the city and everything like that. And the problem is spreading now to the county. Now, it doesn't help that the opponents on the other side are advocating for open borders and letting.
Well, you said that you wanted to speak about the city stuff. There's no border with Mexico.
I am.
I mean, we can go there, but I'm just saying.
Let's go there. Let's go there.
We can go there, but
I'd rather go there.
I thought that you were saying that you wanted to talk about
that affects the city.
Mexico affects the city?
That affects the city. Once
How,
again,
how does open borders affect the city?
this is what people, like you said, I'm glad you said I studied this. This people don't realize when they go into the polls and voting. Baltimore is a sanctuary city. Maryland is becoming a sanctuary state. And that's why you see all these murders and everything.
With a Republican, it's a sanctuary state with Larry Hogan here.
Yeah, he's not for it. He's not for it. But when Baltimore was made a sanctuary city and a stronghold for illegals to come here, if you look at the sanctuary cities, they all are urban cities. I don't know if you ever studied them. Have you? You know what some of the sanctuary cities are? Some of the same cities I just named.
When you say sanctuary cities, what do you mean by that?
I mean cities where you can put illegals and they cannot be arrested or deported for anything that they.
You think that this is a place like that?
I don't think it. I know it. This is a sanctuary city.
ICE doesn't come here. ICE hasn't arrested anybody here. If you make a phone call and say you don't think ICE is gonna come and pick people up, you think they're gonna say, "Oh, it's Baltimore.
I think they're gonna
sanctuary."
I think they're gonna be slow to do it. I think they're gonna be slow to do it.
I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
I think that you came here to repeat a whole bunch of Republican talking points to me, and that's fine. I've heard them all.
That's not true.
But there's nothing that you said that would show me why somebody in Baltimore should vote for you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say this then. Dr. Claude Anderson's research says, well, at the Harvard Institute, Dr. Claude Anderson, he served a political advisor to Jimmy Carter. Dr. Claude Anderson says that the number one issue facing African Americans is the illegal immigration crisis. He says it's going to negatively affect African Americans before it affects anyone. That's not a talking point, okay? That's something I studied as well. Dr. Anderson was here Sunday, and he said the same thing again.
Well, I'll tell you to tell him that he's wrong.
How would you? Well,
that's not the number one.
If
we go outside right now,
you think the doctor is
I mean,
wrong.
I think that he is someone who.
Why don't we listen to our scholars?
Listen. Here, let's speak on specifics.
Scholars.
Let's speak on specifics.
All right.
Okay. The young men that we have that we call here squeegee kids, right? Squeegee kids. Mm-hmm. You're telling me that their plight is tied to immigration? Is that what you're going to tell me?
Are you telling me that's the number one?
Are you going to tell me? I'm just giving you an example.
We
can go down to anybody on the corner that stand on the corner that's involved in illegal activities. Are you going to sit here and say that that's because of immigration?
That's not because of immigration.
It's nothing that you can say that affects.
That's an economic.
No, that's a Republican talking point.
That is not true.
But you should use that one. You should have brought the Republican talking points that are going to matter to your race. Your race for this congressional seat, and you didn't bring them. You didn't bring them.
I did the opioid crisis. You didn't want to. You wanted to talk about.
Sure, that's
I'm just
one.
relating it to a national because this is a federal office. So
absolutely, this is a seat in the House of Representatives.
Right. I'm just relating it to.
And this is a very important seat.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. The congressman was someone who was against someone you supported, Donald Trump. And
yes,
where do you stand on Trump and the job that he's been doing?
Now that's not a question about Baltimore, but since you asked,
well, I mean, if you were going to go to the House of Representatives,
all right,
maybe you don't. I don't know if it's been 4 years since you've been studying this, but that's in Congress.
No, not since.
And that's in Washington D.C.
I've been involved in it
which
for a while.
you're going to be involved in on a national scale.
Okay,
so what kind of job has Trump been doing?
Okay, first of all, the impeachment that's going on right now of President Trump, I don't know if you've been watching it.
I have.
Well, of course you have. Of course
I have.
You who you are. It's a sham. It's a national embarrassment.
Which part?
That the phone call that they couldn't impeach him. Put it this way: Representative Ilhan Omar said herself. She said, "We have a list of things that Donald Trump can be impeached on, but since we cannot get him on all these things, we'll get him on this." That's an embarrassment right there. So you can't win an election, so you're just going to impeach him on a phone call that he had with Ukraine. What I think about that, that's.
Well, what was said on the phone call? Wait,
you had a list.
One of your opponents
had a list of 100 things they can impeach him on that was serious.
That's because his behavior has been so illegal.
Okay, well, why don't you get some of those illegal things that he's done and impeach him on those? That's what my point is.
Did you vote for Barack Obama? Did you vote for Mitt Romney?
I voted for Barack Obama 2 times.
You voted for Barack Obama 2 times. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when did you fall and bump your head? It was at what point was it second term or the first term? Because the stuff that you saying now don't make sense to me. Second term.
When I bumped my head when the police were shooting at our people in the street.
They still are.
They still are. But
I'm sure a Republican can change that, right? Trump's in office, they ain't changing it.
That problem, the police problem, the police issue is a issue that we've been facing in our community for a long time, no matter who's in office, Republican or Democrat. We both know that.
Yes. Many of these issues that we face are not partisan issues.
Right. That's not.
They are issues.
Right.
And Donald Trump, I don't know if you know this, has been a Democrat his whole life. Right, the guy you voted for, the guy that you supported.
You want to talk about him the whole time?
No, I mean, I'm just you are at the disadvantage of.
No, I don't think it's a disadvantage.
It's a major disadvantage because he is the front
for
your party.
I'm gonna clear that.
And has a looming shadow over.
The front of our
party. The president is the head of the party. No, he is.
Somebody said
that's not even a question. It's a statement.
It's not. No, Ron Paul is the head of the.
Now you're talking crazy.
Donald Trump is in charge of both parties. He's the president of the United States. He's in charge of the Democratic Party.
He is not the head of the Democratic Party. I mean, you're talking crazy.
Who's the person in charge of the Democratic Party? Nancy Pelosi. Am I correct?
I would say that. Yeah.
Right, and Ron Paul is the Republican. Her Republican opposite. They both have to report to Donald Trump.
If something happens to Trump. Mm-hmm. And something happens to Pence, who do you think becomes president?
Trump and Pence.
The president and the vice president. Who's next in the succession?
Vice president.
No. After
of the House.
Oh, the Speaker of the House. Yes.
Who's the Speaker of the House?
Nancy Pelosi.
Okay. Right.
Democrat.
So, did you understand the question I just asked you?
The secession of power.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
no, but you said yourself he wasn't in charge. I'm saying he's in charge.
She is the most powerful Democrat. Mm-hmm. He is the most powerful Republican.
Okay.
Let us move on. Go ahead.
He's the most powerful Republican? Ron Paul's not
the president. No, Ron Paul. Oh, my God. Let's move past that.
All right, okay.
Okay, the president is the most powerful.
Okay.
Oh, you're joking. Are you serious?
I'm serious, man. You it seems like you're focusing on the president, which most people do all the time.
Here's why.
Okay.
Here's why.
Can I say this before you say please hold that point.
Okay.
I think that's a mistake that we do.
What?
We focus on someone that's going to be in the office for 4 years, and both parties are still going to be in.
How long is a term of the congressman?
2 years.
Okay. You're running for the continuation of Cummings' seat? Are you running for both elections?
Running for both.
I'm running for both. Okay. All right. So
remember what your question was. I don't want.
No. It's fine. It's fine. Right. So this term ends when?
This term ends at the end of the year. I think not this year, but in the next year, I believe.
It would be January 2021. Okay. So the campaign that you're on now is to get people to vote for you to finish out the term of Elijah Cummings.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then in April, people are going to be voting again to find out who's going to serve the next 2 years.
Yes.
Okay. Why are you more qualified than, say, Kwesi Mfume, who had the seat before?
Great question. Man,
before Elijah Cummings.
That was a great question. Do you remember your other question?
No, I want that one.
All right. This is great. We off Donald Trump. Okay. That's good. Kwesi, people keep saying Kwesi. I don't know if I should. Well, I'm going to go there.
You got to.
Yeah, I'm going to go there. Kwesi is not the person that you want in that seat at this time, period. Mr. Mfume, at his own press release, that his long launch, he was asked by the press, they said, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as the future of Baltimore, the past, or the present? Him himself answered the present. And I still have my shoes on that fit from the past. He basically said, I'm going to do things the old-fashioned way. Do we need more of that? I think the answer is no. He definitely didn't say he represents the future. Okay? So basically, he's not going to move Baltimore forward. He's there to keep things the same because he's experienced at it. He's been doing it back in the past.
He said that he will be ready to do the job on day one.
Right. He'll be ready to do the job like he used to do it.
And he said that he has friends there and he knows people and he would be able to get a lot of his committee assignments. So you would be new there. So you would have a lot to.
Right. I'll be fresh there.
Yeah.
That is exactly what Baltimore doesn't need. What he said, the reason why they asked him that in the press, because they was talking about moving the city forward. We don't need the city to stay the same. And everybody's just thinking about, oh, he's good at it. He did it before. He can do that job. He can do that job the old way. He can't do it the new way. He himself admitted that. He admitted that. He said, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna represent the present. And I still fit my shoes that I had back then. He should have new shoes on, don't you think? We should have new, fresh blood in there doing things in a different way. We don't need things. We can just go outside. Like
we don't need somebody new for the sake of being new if they don't know what to do. We need somebody that knows what to do. Oh. And so to me, it's more about whether the person can do the job than anything else.
That's not true.
It's not about the person can do the job.
First of all, everybody's applying that can do it. Everybody that's running, all 20, 3 of us, 19 Democrats, and I might got the number wrong, but all of us that are
there's 32 people running.
Right, 32. All of us that are running are qualified. People would just want to think that the Republican side is the only side that's not qualified because they're new. That's not true. Okay, they know exactly what they're doing.
There's some Democrats that are not qualified as well.
Okay, I'm glad you admitted that. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say.
I would.
I would say all of them are not qualified at this point in history to do it. I would say every last one of them is not qualified.
Yeah, I mean, people are qualified to run. Being qualified to run doesn't mean that you can handle the job.
I mean, do the job.
Yeah,
they cannot do the job, and we know that. We've seen that how they run Baltimore. We've seen how they handled the job in the past. Like I said, Elijah Cummings was a great congressman. His era is over. Yet we have other people that's trying to continue his legacy, and so we got people in there that want to do the job the old-fashioned way.
About his widow. His widow. Okay. Dr. Maya Rockamore Cummings. Mm-hmm. Okay, so she hasn't been there before. Do you think she's qualified?
I don't think she's qualified. No, she would be one of the new people you talk about.
She's new,
and
so you're more qualified than her.
I wouldn't say I'm more qualified than she is. I would say
because she wants to continue his legacy. That was his wife.
Right, I would say just as qualified as she is. I would say more qualified she is.
So she is qualified, or she isn't qualified.
I would say I'm better.
You're better than her. Gotcha.
Because I'm on the Republican side, I would say a lot better. I'm going to do things a little bit different. I'm not going to do them the same. She's going to do things the same. Another person that's talking about doing things the exact same way. If you look at the way the people speak, she's there to continue his legacy. His legacy is he has a great track record. His era is over. We're voting for something for the next 2 years. Do we want to still do things the same way? The answer is no. I'll answer for you. The answer is no. We want to do things different. Okay? God bless that lady for making it through her surgery.
Yes.
I'm glad she made it through, and she's going to be back on the campaign trail. But we do not need the same people back in there again. We have to get that through our thick skulls. So I don't care how much we hate Republicans. We should hate Democrats just as much because we've lived under them, and they burying us under a sea of debt. They burying us in crime. They burying us in everything that what you call talking points. It's not talking points for me.
Well, I mean, we gotta go. I gotta go back to you. I gotta go back to your guy. Right. The national debt is higher now than it's ever been.
Yes, it's true.
That's true. Because of a conservative.
No,
right?
No, that deficit
Republicans are
that's been going on for the last 10 years.
They're conservative when it comes to.
It's out of control. I don't think. Between me and you, Diamond, I don't think that this issue with the deficit is just spiraling out of control.
Oh no, it's already there.
Yeah,
it's already there.
How anyone can fix that is Obama tried, Clinton tried, and they told us back then that this would happen. So we have a major problem on our hands with this deficit. I agree. That should be a bipartisan issue. They instead of going on impeachment and all this nonsense, everybody should be trying to fix that problem. That problem's gonna, it's, like you said, I'm afraid where that problem is taking us.
It's a bad thing.
Right. That problem is taking us.
As far as your campaign, have you been out shaking hands, kissing babies, knocking on doors? What you been doing?
Yeah, I got to go out and kiss some babies tomorrow. I'm giving out turkeys and I'm serving the homeless tomorrow at War Memorial Building at 1:00 for mothers who've had their children impacted by violence. Yes, I've done all that, and I need to do a lot more of it because I don't think that us as voters are actually thinking. We want to just keep doing things the same way and want to vote for people that we say are qualified to do things the exact same way. It makes no sense. We need something new. We need something fresh, and we need a change. We admit that we need a change, but here the change is the Republican Party. That's another thing. People think the Republican Party is an alternative. Not an alternative. So other parties have been sitting here the whole time that you won't vote for, but now you need them. Make a change. It's going to be hard, a hard pill to swallow, but it's going to be even harder to watch our people die in the streets from a high murder rate, high overdose rates, abortions, crime, whatsoever. The same thing that we plan on voting. And
does a woman have a right to choose?
Have a right to choose. I'm
Whether she
pro-life.
has a baby or not.
I'm pro-life.
So that's no.
No, I'm pro-life.
Okay.
I think
So you don't think that a woman has a right to choose whether or not she has a baby? She gets pregnant. However she gets pregnant, she needs to have that baby.
This is
about rape, incest, any of that.
Rape
Still
and
needs to
incest.
have
Rape and incest. People bring that up all the time
because it happens.
It's also 1% of cases.
It still happens, and that is much more than 1%.
No, it's not much more. Than 1%.
It's much more than 1%.
The majority of the cases of
rape is much more than 1% alone.
Okay.
So what are you talking about right now?
Okay, it's more than 1%. The majority of those cases, people have already chosen. Do you say a woman have the right to choose? Life starts at conception. Life. Okay.
Starts at inception.
Conception. Yes.
So
you've already chosen.
So like on the movie when they had sex and she said she was pregnant when he got up, that's when it starts.
That's the start.
Life starts right then.
That's the start.
Whenever you bust a nut, that's when it started.
Whenever that nut hit that egg and it fertilizes and it's a baby.
How do y'all know when that happens? How do y'all know when that happens?
So,
How do we know? How do we know when that happens?
Well, we know.
Okay.
So, I mean, even how much time do you need? 6 months, 7 months? How much?
Well, you said when it happens. That's just like I don't know, like
instant.
A quickie, like 10 minutes.
Okay.
10
how
minutes
about afterwards? How about afterwards? How about
so that's what I'm saying. Is it a month? Is it 2 months?
A month. Let's say a month.
Okay. So at that point, at the month, does the woman have the right to say
no?
No. So she needs to have that.
You said you. Let's start out the instant thing. A month later.
Okay.
She's already made that choice. Life is brewing.
Now, what if she was raped?
If she was raped, exceptions like that, of course, we should have some sort of procedure to. They got that pill. They actually can take afterwards, like you said, if the instant thing. They got the morning after pill, which I think is a great contraceptive people can use. You know, something happened to you was raped or whatever. You take this, you say, "Wow!" Of course, you want to take care of that right then and there. So you go get the morning after pill. Morning after, you take the pill. You don't have to wait a month.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But a month later, you've already made the choice.
Okay. This is very interesting. And you wonder why people don't want to vote Republican.
Did I say something wrong?
No. Did you say something wrong? No, I don't think you said anything wrong.
I said the truth hurts. The truth hurts and it's hard to swallow.
Sure. Yes.
The truth hurts and it's hard to swallow. We don't have time to this is why I said it. We don't have time at this point to worry about our emotions, about truth, when we have situations that are so close to our door that can destroy us. You said earlier, this is the most important election.
This is the most important election. I absolutely meant it. But what
lives at stake?
Here's the problem.
Would you say that lives are at stake?
Here's the problem that you have. And
could you just answer that before you say my problem?
Of course.
Lives at stake? Lives
are definitely at stake. As long as we have a lunatic like Donald Trump in office, lunatic. Okay,
I'm not running for that office.
But here's why.
I'm not running for president.
Here's the challenge that you have, because he has done so much disastrous things, right, in 3 years, and then you want to be under that banner, right? Those things fall on you. So when you go to communities that have been, first of all, a community like Baltimore that has been disrespected by him to the degree that he has, for you to come in and you waving the Republican flag as a black man, double whammy, and then you're waving the flag and you're saying, "Hey, vote for me." And when people see Republican Baltimore, they're thinking about Trump. They're not thinking about Hogan's one of the ones they say, "Oh, he might be one of the good ones," right? I got my thoughts on him, but if they say he's one of the good ones, and they look at Trump, he's definitely not someone who's welcome in Baltimore. For you to wave that flag, is the Trump name is going to just drip on your clothes like acid.
I disagree, and this is why I disagree.
People Republican, they're going to think about whoever the top Republican is.
Think about Trump, and that's what they should not be thinking about.
How is it possible? How, Sway?
Trump has said some brash and crash things in the past. He said some
and
things
he's cheating
that I don't
on all
want.
his wives too.
That situation.
But y'all supposed to be, evangelical and
cheated on his wife. I don't know why you popped that in there.
That's an S. That's an S.
You talking about in the past?
Yeah, past.
Okay, well,
this
one evangelical thing,
and this one too. What strip is it? Do you like strippers?
You cheated on her?
Do you like strippers?
No, sir. But who's a stripper? You calling the man's wife a stripper?
Well, former stripper, but I'm talking about some of the playgirls. But it's all right. I mean, Republicans like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
You might agree. I like strippers too.
All right. Yeah, strippers. You know, who don't like a stripper every night?
How can people support your campaign?
You can go to Twitter and go to at C Anderson 2020. That's at capital C A Anderson 2020. You go to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Chris Anderson 2020.
How active are you on social media?
I'm very active on social media. Okay. Very active on social media. Very active on Twitter and very active on. That's why I mentioned those two first. My website is chrisanderson2020.com. chrisanderson2020.com. And once again, we should all think about voting different. I know all the points that you said. Yeah, they're very important. I'm not worried about a person that's insulted us that may not be in office come election time. Or
talking about Trump.
4 years ago. We focus so much on the president instead of focusing on our issues. And our issues can only be solved from the other side. They cannot be solved from the same side that we've been in. We already know that. That's how we got into problems in the first place. You can only solve them by something different.
Okay. All right. Well, I have really enjoyed this conversation. It was a lot more engaging than I thought that it was going to be. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you the last word. Please look straight to the camera and tell people why they need to vote for you.
What's the camera at?
Right there.
Okay. Need to vote for me because, first of all, the situation in the city is very bad and it can be solved. A lot of people are not thinking about solving this problem. They're thinking about creating Baltimore as a charity, and the charity just keeps going on and on over 4 years. 4 years even after President Trump is out of office, and they come back 4 years and say we can solve this problem. It can be fixed. $1.8 billion have been sent to fix the enterprise zones that I can use to build up businesses and use it also to get rid of the opioid problem altogether. The opioid problem should be the first thing you should be thinking about when you go to the polls. The immigration problem should be second. Homelessness should be next, in the education of our schools. All those problems can be fixed by the enterprise zones that have already been empowered by the administration that's in office right now. It would take someone of that administration to use that money to fix Baltimore and build the infrastructure back up the way it's supposed to be. No Democrat, none of them on the other side will do that. None of them, they will all vote with party lines, and they will have to vote what the Democrats tell them to vote. And the Democrats do not want to build the city back up. They want it to be torn down, because as long as it's torn down, you'll be a charity and your vote will be a charity. Next year they'll come to you in 2 years and say we need your vote all over again to fix the same problems that a Republican could have fixed in the first place. So that's what I tend to do when I get in office. I tend to fix Baltimore and build Baltimore back up, because I love Baltimore and they do not. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Of course, RadioFire.com. I will be back on Monday, and I want everybody to have a great weekend.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas. Want to have me on again?
Absolutely.